Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's nice to be back. I missed you all. Nice to see you all in person, and greetings as well to our YouTube viewers. Shabbat Shalom. We're ramping up for a full schedule. We're very busy. Sunday, the religious school has their Purim Carnival and Purim Spiel, and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there is a memorial service for Craig Wilford. The RSVPs are closed for the dinner, which will follow, but if you wish to attend the service for Craig, you're more than welcome to. We have our Purim service and dinner coming up next Friday night. The services will not be streamed because we will be in the social hall. Be sure you've gotten your reservations in for the dinner. Dinner starts at 6 o'clock, followed by a Kabbalat Shabbat and a fun service. Also on the schedule is our first night Passover Seder in person in our social hall. We're all looking forward to that. The notice of that is going out sometime this weekend. Be sure and RSVP. We're looking forward to actually being back in person again. And for those of you who've not seen our social hall, you're in for a real treat and or surprise. Also coming up is our Gala 65th anniversary celebration on May the 14th. Invitations to that will be going out soon, so look for them, please, and RSVP. We're looking forward to our delayed celebration of our 65th anniversary. It'll be a big occasion for us. As always, I'd like to thank our staff. I've missed them. I hope they've missed me. Thank you to our techies, Chris Jastrock, David Youngman, and Phil Carey, and of course to our staff, Rabbi Mark, Cantor Ken, and tickling the acrylics or whatever they are, Dr. Ray Irwin. Shabbat Shalom.
It is wonderful that we are able to gather back together again and return to some sense of normalcy. For those who are uncomfortable with being with us in public, you will have the opportunity to purchase a to-go Seder dinner as well. All of this will be detailed in the email that you will receive on tomorrow evening. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust my volume here. That's because that's not working. There we go. Let's try that. That works much better. So, for those of you who did not hear, if you are uncomfortable being with us in public for our Seder, there will be Seder to-go meals available for you. All of this will be detailed in an email which will come out tomorrow evening at the end of Shabbat. And of course, those of you who would like to try out your funny bone, you have the opportunity to participate in our Purim celebration next Friday as we spend an evening at the Shushan Improv. So you have the opportunity to tell your best joke or your worst joke, whichever you prefer. Please let me know so we can put you on the docket of the order of the evening because we will have a number of opportunities as well. The Cantor and I have been spending our time perusing the wonderful wealth of joke resources available and have found all kinds of good, bad, and horrible jokes to share with you. So we are looking forward to that. That will also be, by the way, though not streamed on YouTube, that will have a Zoom link available for those of you who wish to be able to observe from home. There will be a Zoom link coming out next week to you so that you will be able to see and hear the festivities of our Purim celebration. Purim actually begins on Wednesday night. Here it's much easier for us if we just celebrate it on a Friday. So religious school is going to observe it the Sunday before, and we will observe it the Friday after, which happens to be Shushan Purim. If we lived in a walled city, we would be able to celebrate it on Friday. Well, sometimes the cities we live in feel like a walled city, so we're going to celebrate it then. For those of you joining us at home, please set aside now an opportunity to join us with our Shabbat rituals. I ask you to set aside some candles, make sure you got some matches, a glass of juice or wine or your other favorite Shabbat beverage so that we can share our Kiddush together. We will share an motzi at the end of our service here, and those of us here will have the opportunity to share in an oneg. We hope you have some sweets available to you as well. In addition, there are some Shabbat greetings that I bring. This has been an opportunity for us during our pandemic lockdown to financially support the temple with donations and giving us the opportunity to reach out from members of our congregation to those viewing and to those with us here. Rita and Bob Rubin, Jeff and Wilma Shear, Peggy Roman, Phil and Susan Carey, and Anita Rosenblum. Thank you so very much. I wish to acknowledge that Rita is here with her daughter, Susan. Thank you, Rita. Jeff is a past president of our congregation and a member of our temple board. Peggy Roman, good to have you with us this evening as well. That's 2 Fridays in a row. You're batting 1,000 now. And of course, Phil, our technical guru. Thank you, Phil, for not only your volunteering and your support of our streaming opportunities, but also for supporting the Shabbat greetings. And of course, our flowers, sponsored by Jennifer Wilford in memory of her husband, Craig Wilford, who we will be memorializing on Sunday afternoon. We come to our Shabbat. This is an opportunity for us to grab the universal remote of life and hit the pause button. That's really what Shabbat is. It's a pause. It's a major holiday that occurs every single week, which is why it has sort of dropped by the wayside, because we human beings have become so busy with other things that to celebrate 52 holidays a year is a bit much. However, the blessings of Shabbat offer us the opportunity to decompress. Even during our pandemic days, when we found ourselves isolated and in our homes, it was nevertheless appropriate for us to try to shift our gears in that environment and to find ways to make this time special. This is what Shabbat offers us. It is the most radical of holidays ever invented. 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 200 years ago, the only people who had leisure were the upper class. The upper class, royalty, the leaders. They had days of leisure. The rest of us worked as beasts of burden, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. This might be some of the reason behind why Jews were so despised. Because we said to the leaders 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, we said to the leaders, no, it's Shabbos, we don't work. This is radical. This is absolutely radical. We're used to a weekend now, but that was not always the case. Thomas Cahill, in his book, Gifts of the Jews, identifies the Sabbath, the Shabbat, a day of rest, as one of the gifts the Jews have presented to the world. The idea that human beings are not beasts of burden, that we do not and should not continually have to do in order to find our meaning. It's kind of like reading on Walden Pond, you know? The whole idea of stepping back from the world and technology for a little while, this is what the Sabbath affords us, if we choose to take advantage of it. I truly believe it is the antidote to what's going on in our modern life. Hatred seems to fill everyone's heart these days because they don't have what their neighbors have. Well, you know what? Get over it. They feel somehow that life has betrayed them, and in some ways, life has. And we've lived that for the last 2.5 years. The power of Shabbat, however, is that it teaches us how not to let anger take root in our hearts and in our souls. Because Shabbat teaches us to be grateful. To be grateful. We've come to the end of the week. Yes, there were trials and tribulations. Yes, there were sorrows. Yes, there were horrible things that occurred. But we've come to the end of our week. And so we can take this opportunity to collect our thoughts. We do that in our worship service. We do that with our Shabbat rituals. We are here together as one people, one community, even in our virtual space. We've joined to share in this treasured moment together. As we transition from the hectic demands of life and of our daily rounds, we are invited to leave the week behind. Let go. Let go of what has been. Let go of what will be as well. And let us enter this place of stillness, a sacred space and a sacred time. Breathe in the calm of evening and pause. Breathe out the stresses of the week. Breathe in the calm of nightfall and pause. Breathe out and feel a sense of release. Breathe in the radiance of the moon and the stars and pause. Breathe out all thoughts of doing and become one with this present moment. Feel the warmth of relaxation. Feel it wash over you. Breathe in the radiant light and pause. Feel your mind become open and uncluttered. Breathe out and feel your soul become freed to Soar to new heights. Breathe in the calm and pause. Feel yourself surrender. Breathe out everything and focus only on now. And feel your body, your mind, and your soul become whole and at peace. Now we are finally ready to graciously accept this present from our loving Creator, to embrace God's gift of rest and of rejuvenation, to turn our complete attention toward Shabbat, to savor all that Shabbat provides, and become enveloped by holiness. As we breathe in and out once more, we pause and we welcome this Shabbat.
Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, B'Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, B'Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
That is such a lovely melody, Cantor. I felt the Malachei Hamlachim with me, the various messengers that have traveled with us, those of flesh and blood, those of memory, those of spirit. Light a candle, drink wine. Softly the Sabbath has plucked the sinking sun. Slowly the Shabbat descends the rose of heaven in her hand. How can the Sabbath plant a huge and shining flower in a blind and narrow heart? How can the Shabbat plant the bud of angels in a heart of raving flesh? Can the rose of eternity grow in an age enslaved to death? Light a candle, drink wine. Slowly the Shabbat descends. Are in her hand the flower, and in her hand the sinking sun. We continue as we light our Shabbat candles. I invite Dr. Jeff Winston to join the Cantor and I on the bima and to lead us in the blessing over our Shabbat candles, which we can find in our prayer books on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kadashanu b'mitzvah tov, v'tzivanu lohadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to light the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom, Jeff, and we hope that Susan continues her healing, and we look forward to welcoming the both of you out in public again. Juice and wine are a symbol of joy within Judaism. Yes, we have faced trials and tribulations during the past week. Judaism is not so naive as to teach us that life is a simple process. Life is complex, and we share in joys and we share in sorrows, and we drink from those cups, and sometimes we do it at the same time. But as an ancient and ageless people, we are accustomed to those dichotomies, and we live them, reminding ourselves that we need to celebrate life to its fullest when we are able, so that we can bear the sorrows that life will bring us all the more. Which is why we Jews, our toast is not to health, because that is not guaranteed. We do not say cheers, because no one knows what that means, other than a little bar in Boston, for those of us from the 80s TV shows. We say l'chaim, to life, its blessings and its curses. With the words of our Kiddush, we sanctify this day, this time, and the complexities of living life in this world.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zeichel yitziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharata ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Let's say it. L'chaim. L'chaim, right? For those of us here in our sanctuary, there is Kiddush juice and wine available to you when we recess to our social hall for the Oneg. Prayer is not purely an act. All things pray. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray. The earth prays. Every creature and every living thing. Creation is itself but a longing, a kind of prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and the setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the wordless outpouring of the boundless longing for God. We continue with our Baruch Hu, our call to worship. I invite us to rise as we are able. The words are on the screen in front of you and on the prayer books, in your prayer books on page 28.
Lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, 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 lie, lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie, la, 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 lie, la, 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 Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, la, lai, la, 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 lai, la, 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 lai. La 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 la.
It is evening, and the children slowly dream away the storms of the day. It is evening, and stars glow gently in the quiet heavens. Can we understand a dream? Can we find a net to capture the meaning of a glowing star? What bridge spans the vast universe we must cross to reach understanding? How small are we to attempt that journey? And yet somehow we learn to find our glory in a brave and endless struggle to comprehend eternal mysteries. We are voyagers, all of us voyagers in an infinite sea. Our destination always beyond the horizon. But we are all voyagers. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael Amecha havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Aken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יום ולילה נגי יום ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל
I am whole and I am healing. I am part of all that is. When my heart is truly open, love and light flow through me. We may be seated.
And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might, these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorpost of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Sometimes things don't go, after all, from bad to worse. Some years the muscatel faces down the frost. Green thrives and crops don't fail. Sometimes a person aims high and all goes well. A people sometimes will step back from war. We hope and pray. Elect an honest person, decide they care enough that they cannot leave some stranger poor. Some people become what they were born for. Sometimes our best efforts do not go amiss. Sometimes we do as we meant to. The sun will sometimes melt a field of sorrow that seemed hard frozen. May it happen to you.
As we all know, very soon is going to be coming upon us Purim. And
Soon? Purim?
Yes,
Oh, no,
yes.
No.
Rabbi, it's a lot of fun. Let me just tell you that. Anyway, so
Wait, they don't understand the joke. Why,
oh,
why a lot of
so
fun?
lottery. The Purim is lots. You have like big lots, but
Yes, lottery.
But lottery. So I said it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so we're going to start. Before we're going to use Michamocha as we usually do for incoming holidays. It's our little banner, a sign that the holiday's coming up. We'll sing it first as Lai 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 to get the melody, and that's to Chag Purim. Chag Purim, Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai, Lai 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 Lai, Lai Lai Lai, Lai Lai Lai, Lai 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 Lai, La 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 Michamocha. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. And I broke the strap. It was all intentional.
Indeed, Purim, zany times ahead, folks. If you need a little shot in the arm, come and join us on Sunday morning. If you need another shot in the arm or a shot, join us next Friday. There will be both available. The world has our hands, but the soul belongs to someone else. To set apart a day a week, a day on which we would not use the instruments so easily turned into weapons of destruction, a day for being with ourselves, a day on which we stop the idols of technical civilization, a day on which we use no money, a day of armistice in the economic struggle with our neighbors and with the forces of nature. Is there any institution that holds out a greater hope for human progress than the Sabbath?
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
A very peppy tribute to Shabbat. Our fathers and mothers prayed each through their own experience of God, each through their own visions which we have come to share. Abraham, with the fervor of justice, pleaded the cause of cities. Sarah, in the pain of waiting, dared to hope for new life. Isaac, meditating in the field, lifted his eyes to find love. Rebekah asked for the ability to discern God's call. Jacob climbed the rungs of his night into heaven seeking destiny. Leah dreamed of love, and Rachel sought harmony. We, as they, seek God's presence. We continue with the words of our tefillah, which can be found on the screen in front of you, but also on page 46 and following in our prayer books as we continue with our Amidah portion of our worship service. I invite us to rise as we are able.
Ya la 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 la, 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata, Rab lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofech holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We may be seated. For the blessings which you lavish upon us in forest and sea, in mountain and meadow, in rain and in sun, we thank you. For the blessings you implant within us, joy and peace, meditation and laughter, we are grateful to you. For the blessings of friendship and love, of family and community, for the blessings we ask of you and for those that we dare not ask, for the blessings you bestow upon us openly and those you give us in secret. For all these blessings, eternal God, we thank you and are grateful to you. For the blessings that we recognize and for those that we fail to recognize, for the blessings of our tradition and of our holy days, for the blessings of return and forgiveness, of memory, of vision and of hope, for all of these blessings which surround us on every side. O God, hear our thanks and accept our gratitude. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Just as the hand held before the eye can hide the tallest mountain, so too can the routine of every day keep us from seeing the vast radiance and the secret wonders that fill the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
Yisrael Amecha, Al Yisrael Amecha, Tasim Leolam, Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amecha, Tasim Leolam, Ki Atahu Melech Adon, Melech Adon lechol hashalom, ki atahu Melech Adon, Melech Adon lechol hashalom, shalom rav al Yisrael Amecha, al Yisrael Amecha. Tasim leolam, shalom rav al Yisrael Amecha, tasim leolam, v'tov b'necha levarech et Amecha Yisrael, bechol eit uvechol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom rav Yisrael Amecha, al Yisrael Amecha, tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Yisrael Amecha, al Yisrael Amecha, tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom, b'shalom, shalom rav Yisrael Amecha, Amecha Tasim Leolam Shalom Ra Yisrael Amecha Tasim
We include in our prayers for shalom, for peace and wholeness, the people of Ukraine who have found their homes invaded by a foreign power. An act of war is committed against another nation. The world has rallied to its degree at this point in offering support to the people of Ukraine. We include them in our prayers for peace. May the millions who have been displaced from their homes be able to return home to them soon and in peace. And may those who choose to inflict war upon other nations find themselves held accountable by the nations of this world. In addition, we want to include those whose sense of shalom, whose sense of peace, has been disturbed, even shattered by the challenges that they are facing. Those who have been wounded in acts of violence, and those who have found their health diminished by the challenges that they are facing. In the moment, our Cantor will lead us in our Mishaberach, our prayers for hope, for healing, and for shalom, for all the peoples on this planet. And I will invite you to share aloud the name of a loved one. Thus we might bring them here into this space at this time and into our hearts. May all those who are facing challenges to their health and well-being be blessed on their journey, a journey that will bring them to a refuah shlema, a return to the wholeness they seek, the shalom, the peace that they desire. Please share aloud the name of a loved one who is in need of this prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen.
Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Misheberach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misheberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as
Just as in life, we must pause from our doings to regain our perspective, to find our focus. So too in a worship service, do we stop our readings and stop our singing, so that we may too, during this moment, take stock of where we are, to regain perspective, to lead us into this time of quietude and reflection. I share this thought. Oh God, surround me with stillness, tiny ripples spreading across the pond, touched by one finger of your hand, calmed by the warmth of your palm. Croon the wordless melody that fills my being with peace under the spreading tree of your affection. And I will sit and meditate on the goodness you have brought, counting the happy moments like glistening beads strung to adorn my days. Light the shadowed corners with a gentle glow to fill my being with peace. Drape about me the dappled sunlight of your teachings. Open my eyes to the search, clearing my heart of the small distractions. I might find the answers within myself. Blow the breeze of compassion upon my brow, breathing a sigh of peace. Let me rest by the water, probing gently for the sense of what I see, releasing my hurts to restore my spirit, feeling you guide me to a distant shore. And so we pause.
Ratzon imre fi vegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri Adonai
Sorry. Cantor, thank you so much for the music, the ruach, the neshama that you bring to our worship services. Dr. Ray, as always, it's a pleasure to share the bima with you and to have the clavinova enrich our music, lift our prayers to the heavens. David, Chris, and Phil, thank you so much for streaming our services to our YouTube audience. Those of you joining us at home and across the world, Shabbat Shalom to you and thank you for being with us. It is difficult when one comes to the end of this week, to the end of a week in our modern world, and truly find a way to disconnect. Our modern devices constantly remind us of all kinds of events going on. I have no idea how my email address has been linked to so many emails. I find myself sometimes during the week unsubscribing from 20, 30, 40 emails. When I go on vacation and come home and find my inbox filled with 300 to 400 emails that I know I did not sign up for, I sometimes curse this modern age. And yet at the same time, I relish in the ability to find information and misinformation with the tap of a button or my finger. It is truly incredible when you think about the mass of information that is available to us today that was not available 20 years ago, 50 years ago. How to make sense of all of this incoming stuff. How not to become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things and attempts to get my attention, our attention. It is difficult. And the misinformation is something that I am just absolutely flabbergasted by. Look, we've been living with Holocaust deniers for decades. But to see some of the stuff that's out there, not only denying the Holocaust, but denying slavery, denying that Russia has invaded Ukraine, denying everything, it is overwhelming, and it is truly a sad commentary on the human state. I think our ancestors would have relished having access to all of this information. You realize until the computers came about, the Talmud was not indexed. There was no index to the Talmud. Scholars, brilliant people with memories far superior to my iPhone, would memorize the Talmud, and it was to them that other rabbis and scholars would turn to say, where is this? I had this experience at Hebrew Union College with my Talmud professor, Dr. Ben Zion Wacholder, alav hashalom. Peace be upon him, he has since died. He had very, very poor vision, was suffering from macular degeneration, and so, he could see like this much of his visual field. We'd see him walking down the hallway, and periodically janitors would, move furniture around, and we would often try to catch the professor before he should run into some of the furniture. He assigned us an assignment one day in class. 10 students, 20 pairs of eyes, good vision, glasses, contacts, others with perfect vision without any aid. He assigned us to begin on this page with this word and go until that page in that word. 20 eyeballs, scanning the page, scanning the page. We raise our hands and then look at each other and laugh. Dr. Wacholder, that word does not seem to be on that page. Yes, it's there. 20 eyes, once again. No, Dr. Wacholder, it's not there. I don't know how he did it, but in a blink of an eye, he got out of his chair, and in each of our folios, he wrote that word. He pulled this. He went 5 lines from the top, 7 words from the right. 1 second before, that word was not on that page. 20 eyes had looked. Nes Gadol Hayasham, a great miracle happened there because that word was there when he pulled that. Absolutely amazing. And so now, of course, I can search any word I want to in all of Jewish tradition. In all of our classic literature, I can have access to all of it. It used to be when I would visit my rabbi in his wall office, a library, just shelves packed with books stacked up. When I worked with my professor for my thesis, books stacked everywhere. Now, you can access them all. Now, you just have an iPad hanging up on your office, and all the books are there. It somehow diminishes the feeling when you walk into such an office, but I'm telling you, to have it all there is incredible. And so with the whole world at our fingertips, with everything we could ever want, even being able to place an order with Amazon and have it delivered the same day, and yet we still have to deal with idiots. I continue to hold out hope for humanity. I do believe that intelligence can indeed win out. I believe that it is possible for us to have differences. We absolutely should have differences. I mean, that's the whole lesson from the Tower of Babel. God confounded everybody's speech. Why? Because they were so focused on building the tower that all the world was of one thought. When has that ever happened? And I'm not just talking about Jews. One thought and of one tongue. That's never happened. Human beings have always disagreed. We Jews excel at that, and our Talmud is what that's all about. But the difference is, in the Talmud, the rabbis disagreed. And yes, they may have referred to each other, perhaps, maybe with some pejorative terms. Istanis, he's a very sensitive individual, whatever. The Talmud never says the opposing viewpoints were wrong. The Talmud never says the opposing viewpoints are wrong. Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim, both of them are speaking words of God. Both of them have truths. And that's what's missing. That's what is missing in our modern life. We have access to all of this information, and how quickly we are to ascribe wrongness to those ideas that don't fit our own. And therein lies the danger. Because there's truth there somewhere. Even for those who deny the Holocaust, It is their truth that humanity could not have been that evil. It's a naive thought. It flies in the face of all the facts. And it is a challenge to those people to prove that the Holocaust did not happen and not just simply espouse their opinions. We have to back up our opinions with facts, and if we don't have facts to back up our opinions, then all we have are opinions. And my opinion might be that grass is blue and the sky is green, but that's not quite true. Somehow we have to get back to that ability to disagree and not to just strike off the opposing view as being worthless because it doesn't fit into our own. With all this information available to us, may we find a way to open our minds a bit more, to explore those opinions that don't mesh with our own, to weigh our opinions against those. I mean, that's what learning is all about, so that we might become a wiser and a more gentler race on this planet. The world is waiting for us to wise up. And may we find the strength and the wisdom to open our minds enough to be able to do so. Shabbat Shalom. We move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of our Aleinu. The adoration can be found on page 282 and on the screen in front of you, and I invite us to rise as we are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and our memories and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim, the 7 and 30 days since their funerals. Marty Hershkowitz, Laura Cutler, daughter of Joyce Cutler, and Joyce, our hearts go out to you. And Helene Lieberman, the friend of Eileen Mignella. Eileen, our hearts go out to you as well. To their names, we link the names of those whose yard sites have occurred during this past week. Dr. Melvin Kotkin, Paul James Slater, Irene Fadum, Howard Klein, Jeanette Polivoy, Ida W. Diamond, Dr. Maxwell H. Gorman, Beatrice Harris, Rabbi David Lieb, Cindy Roth, Margot Friend, Rosamond Block, David Gurwitch, Emilio Ursus, Morris Ursus, Selma Levinson, David Lowenda, Ann Alberts, Sienna Lippi, Sidney Lowenstein, Sidney Dean, Herman Jacobs, and Bessie Sarkin. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Berta Ursus, Ann Phillips, Malcolm Dipperstein, Mark Bornstein, Leah Levine, Vicky Emery, Sheldon Zinberg, Evelyn Levin, Gloria Austin, Dee Dee Ginter, Dorothy Bernard, Molly Shartoff, Erica Cherie Barnes, Kaylee Goldstein, Craig Wilford, Fred Fink, Joyce Ulibari, Ralph Goldstein, Marvin Asnes, Joel Jaffe, Norman Lippy, Claire Phillips, and David Kaplan. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name at this time. To those that we have named aloud and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, and the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. In addition, we include as well the over 950,000 Americans who have died from COVID-19, and sadly, just this past week, the 759 Americans who died by gun violence. Zichronam Levracha. May their memories be a source of blessing and a source of motivation and inspiration to us as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitba'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei Dekudasha Berichu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tush B'chata V'nechamata Da'amiram Be'alma V'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru. Amen. Aseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru. Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru.
Rented lips. We remain standing as we conclude our service with the singing of Adon Olam. I invite you to hold the hand of someone who needs to remain seated, or put your arm around the shoulder of someone next to you if you are comfortable doing so, as we form ourselves a link of community as we conclude with Adon Olam.
Adon Olam, Hashem Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Leit Nasa V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hove, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. היי לה 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 לה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא. יאללה לה 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 la 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 בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת ישן ועירה, ואם רוחי גביעתי מנוני לי ולא אירא. היי la 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 ya la 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 la.
Before we depart from our sanctuary so that we might ease into our oneg, we will share together in our motzi blessing here the opportunity to thank God for the partnership that exists wherein we take the raw ingredients of our lives and turn it into blessing.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, המוציא לחם מן הארץ בתי אבות.
Bon appetit, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.